Hey guys, JG9 and Scorpion Tazz here today in August for the last month of sports news and some music news as well. Hey JG9, what's going on?
How's it going, Scorp? It's been good. Just very busy, very busy lately with all the things we're doing and with the Olympics and everything. But it's been good. It's been really good.
9 events at a time, really stretching your limit, huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to start with Olympic news, but kind of a downer on the Olympics. We had the Olympics start with a terrorist attack. The rail system got attacked by arsons. They're believing environmentalists and leftist militants are the responsible. Is this going to continue as long as the Olympics are there to unite people and people just disagree with it?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it does happen every now and then. It does happen. We saw what happened with the bombings in London in 2005. We saw what happened there. But I mean, I think this. I think with someone like this, usually something like this is like once in a blue moon sort of incident. You just have to be on super high security, high alert. Like I don't think we're going to see this in Los Angeles. Everything's going to be super tight. Especially because LA's done this before. They did it in 1984. Paris has done before, but that was a long, long time ago. So I think most cities at this point, they're going to be ready. And especially now because the Olympics are so spread out, after these Paris Games, they're going to have a lot of Olympics taking place in 2 or 3 or 4 cities. So I don't think we're going to see something like this again. Hopefully not, at least.
Right. I mean, we've got LA, we've got Melbourne on the docket for the next 2 Summer Olympics. Yeah, this is, unfortunately we dealt with it in 96. Unfortunately, that one was someone just being a jerk. But yeah, I think LA will be ready for it. The security in LA will be tight. I mean, tighter than anything else, especially what the US has seen with large crowds the last few years, with Copa, with some of the stuff that's gone on at other sporting events. I think that we're going to see a tight security in LA, and I hope nothing happens.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if something happens with LA. I think they're going to be on super high alert. I mean, 84 went off without a hitch. A lot of people call it the most smooth Olympics ever run. So right. I'd be very surprised if something happens in 28.
Yeah. So a celebrity that we like to joke about a good bit, Snoop Dogg, got to run the torch. Was this just a publicity stunt for him for the most part?
I mean, Snoop's just been everywhere. Snoop has just been living his best life. I love it. He's been all over the Olympic coverage with NBC. He's been calling some stuff. He's just having fun out there. He is just having fun. And yeah, maybe publicity stunt, but there are a lot of people that run with the torch. There's a lot of people. The torch goes over 10,000 miles. It goes around the world. We've seen some crazy people run with the torch before. Snoop Dogg is on a scale of the most absurd to ever do it, not even close. So right. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with He's enjoying himself.
Were you surprised when you saw the news that he had run it?
Not at all. Not at all. Snoop is one of those guys who could tell me any story and I believe it. Snoop is one of those guys who could tell me any single story and I would say, you know what?
It's plausible.
He probably did it.
Yeah. So let's talk medal count. You've been covering the games almost every day. You've live streamed. USA 86 medals, and they currently lead in golds, 24 with 31 silvers, 31 bronze. Surprising? Not surprising? Do you think we should have more?
I'm surprised. I am very surprised. We're winning golds at stuff that I never thought we were going to win at. Like 1500 today. We won in rowing. We got some other golds that were not expected to take place whatsoever.
But we missed some golds that we should have won.
Yeah, some golds we should have won. I mean, Biles lost one that I thought she was going to have on the floor routine, but a well-deserved silver. I mean,
yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, but this was a This has been a very good Olympics so far for the USA. And today, especially, every single thing went right for Team USA. Every single thing went right on the track. It went well in terms of the team events, water polo winning, basketball winning, volleyball winning, like soccer winning. Everything is
Were you surprised at soccer?
No. I think I said at the start USA was going to win the gold. I was like, I like the roster construction. The Olgar is out. Emma Hayes is a great manager. It was the perfect hire. I loved it at the start. And I was like, this team is on a mission, and this team's going to win the gold. And so far, they're one game away.
Canada, 18 medals, 6, 4, and 8. Does that surprise you?
Nothing really is too surprising in terms of the medal count right now. Obviously, the host nation, France, they're in everything, so they're going to have a good chance at medaling. They're fourth. I mean, nothing's shocking right now in terms of the medal count. I think the only thing that's shocking is Brazil only having 2 gold medals. Usually they're hovering around. They're usually hovering around that 8 to 10 mark. So only 2 is a bit shocking. The medal count for the most part, like, China's going to be in the top 2. It's always going to be USA and China in the top 2 in terms of the overall medal count, and they're going to be fighting for the gold count. Usually, it's USA wins the overall count, China wins the gold count. So nothing really too surprising in that regard. The only things that I would say are surprising, and not surprising, but like a good for them moment, is St. Lucia and Dominica winning their first ever Olympic medals, and it was gold. And Julian Elfren for St. Lucia winning the gold in the 100 and the silver in the 200. Yeah. St. Lucia had no medals before this. They have 2 medals now from one athlete. She's going to be a national hero for a long, long time.
Yeah. Go over these others of note. France, China, and Australia, 48, 58, and 35 respectively. I'm glad Australia's doing good in these games because they've struggled in the last couple of games, haven't they?
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, the big thing with Australia is it comes down to the swimming rivalry against the USA, and that's really been hyped up this year more than any other year. And Australia whooped the USA's butt at most of these events in swimming. Some great runs by O'Callaghan, by McEwen, by Titmus. I mean, there have been some great Australian athletes to compete in the pool, and they beat the USA. And that's how they really got a lot of these gold medals. I don't know how many more they're going to get, but they got a lot of these golds on swimming. And even if they might not finish like inside the top 5 in the total medal count, or they might finish outside the top 3 in the gold medal count, at the end of the day, this Olympics for Australia was going to come down to and be judged by the swimming results, and they knocked it out of the park.
USA getting their first ever medal in rugby.
Yeah, that was fun. That
call. When you saw her take off and knew she was going to score, what were you thinking?
I can't believe that just happened. I mean, USA's never medaled in rugby whatsoever. And keep in mind, like rugby sevens, it is tough to go the distance. It is tough in rugby sevens to go from one end of the field to the other. It is very tough. You don't see that every day. You do not see that often.
Right.
So for her to break 3 tackles and then just to go right up the middle and win the game like that, I mean,
did it remind you almost of watching some of the elite running backs in football breaking tackles and taking it to the house?
It was like watching Derrick Henry. It was like
as much as that pains you to say.
Yeah. Well, he's on the Ravens now, so he's not a problem anymore.
It's not as big of a problem now.
Yeah. It's like if we face Derrick Henry this year, he'll be in the playoffs. So it's like, you know what? I'm okay with that scenario. I'm okay with that. It was like watching Henry. It was crazy. It's crazy.
Noah Lynch's win in the 100. What was your thought when that time came across that he won by?
With Noah Lyles, so there was a whole controversy beforehand because he like slowed down in his semifinal heat. He slowed down and he was like it's okay. I'm like we're gonna win the gold. We're gonna do that. And he was acting very, very confident and cocky beforehand. There was a comment he made with the NBA beforehand, and it was like, okay, he's got a lot to prove in these Olympics. He's got a lot to prove. And then when that race happened, I don't think anyone knew who won it first. I thought it was Thompson at first for Jamaica. I thought it was Thompson at first. And then the time came in.
Super close.
Yeah. And then the replay came in, the time came in because Lyles was slow off the block. That's the other thing. Lyles was the slowest off the block. I think he was off at 0.179. And most of these runners were off by They were often like less than 0.1. So Lyles was already starting off behind the 8 ball. And for him to do that and win by that amount, I mean, that was one of the greatest races I've ever seen in my life.
The fact that he did what he did in the 200, does that surprise you?
Not really. No. No.
Is he going to continue to be? Is he going to continue to be a meme on the internet?
I could see it. The only thing is that I don't know how much like I don't know how like much longer he's got, because he's 27 right now. He'll be 31 for the next Olympics. I don't know if he's going to be past his prime by that point. But I mean, for what he's done, for being the fastest man in the world and all the talk he's got and everything, like I think he will be a meme for a bit, which is good.
Yeah. Another American to kind of surprise me that she maintained what she did 4 years ago or 3 years ago in Tokyo. Valerie Allman.
Yeah.
Winning discus by 2 meters.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't even need her last throw.
Yeah. When we were watching that, I was like everyone else was going like sub 60 for the first throw. And then here she goes at like 67. Then she improves to 69. I thought for a second, okay, Fang's topping out around 67 for China. She seems like if she can just get 1 more meter, she'll be okay. It's 1 or 2 more meters.
And then she faltered 3 in a row.
Yeah, she got like 67, 67, 67, and then she faltered at the very end. But it felt like okay, Allman's gonna go down here. Allman's gonna go down. Fang has been improving every single throw, and she's right on the 67 mark. She'll get it on the next 3. And then it never happened. I'm like, oh, Allman's gonna win this one. Gonna win this one. So yeah, Allman. Phenomenal.
In gymnastics, Simone Biles, of course, won her 10th gold thanks to her vault. But gets 2 penalties on the floor routine and then falls on the beam. Do you think if she could control the floor routine a little bit better, she could have had gold?
Yes, I think for sure. The thing with Biles is that her routines are so technically complex and so complicated that she's allowed to screw up a few times and still be okay. That's the thing with her, is that her routines are so like difficulty level. They're so far ahead of everyone else that she gets some leeway. So the only way to beat her is to have a perfectly executed routine and that she screws up just 1 extra time. Like you're usually allowed 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that she got the silver, because I thought that was her event. I thought that was her event on the floor to win, but a well-deserved silver and a well-deserved gold for the Brazilian. Well-deserved.
Now I've seen both sides of this, criticizing her and praising her. Biles and Childs bow to the Brazilian gymnast on the podium. Class act or being goofy and having some fun?
No, I think, look, the thing with gymnastics is a very tight-knit community. You know everyone in the community. You know everyone in that community. It's very tight-knit. They definitely talked with her beforehand with that. I'm assuming they did. I thought it was a class act. I thought it was a class act to let her have her moment. And I thought it was just a really good moment of sportsmanship, really good moment of fun. We've seen a lot of that with these Olympics. We saw the unified photo with North and South Korea. We've seen a lot of good moments of sportsmanship, and I think that was a really good example.
Yeah,
because we've
seen the Korea thing, I think, has been very eye-opening to the rest of the world.
Yeah,
that they can get along.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we all can get along. We just have to.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen plenty of things. Like I think the thing with Simone Biles is that when she got silver at an event that we all thought she was going to get gold, and you're like, okay, how is she going to react? Is she going to be like upset? Is she going to be smirking? Is she going to be disappointed, arms crossed and whatnot? Because we saw that in 2012 with Mahoney. We saw that, but no, she was very gracious, very much having fun out there, and
she's matured a lot.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that comes with age. I mean, she's 27 now. I think that comes with age.
Right.
But she's very easy to root for. Very easy to root for.
Right. And 10 golds across 4 Olympics. I mean, and not even getting one in one of those Olympics. So basically 3 Olympics in 4 tries. Do you think anyone's touching this this number of gold medals that she's set in women's gymnastics?
Nope, I don't think anyone is. Because the thing with gymnastics is that usually 27, you're retired by this point.
Right.
Like, usually you only have about 2 Olympics, maybe 3 if you're lucky. To be
Depends on your age when you hit that first one.
Yeah. Like I know for me personally, like not that I was ever a gymnast or ever close, but I had my cousin was at one point top 10 in the country.
Right.
She had to retire due to injuries, but she was like, we were thinking for a brief moment, okay, she might make the Olympics at some point. But we always
That's how my sister was.
Yeah, we always like knew that like if you're born in 97, that's a bad year for a gymnast to be born. That's a bad year because 27 is not good because okay, you're not gonna be able to compete at 15. Usually you're not gonna be able to compete at 15 in the Olympics. 19, 23, and then 27, you're retired by that point.
Yeah.
So
my sister was 81, so she had the same problem.
Yeah.
Born right after the 80 Olympics, which of course was boycotted, but you know, and seeing for her, it was seeing Mary Lou Retton, seeing some of the others in the 84 and 88 Olympics that really got her motivated to say, all right, I'm going to break trends. I'm not going to be old enough for Atlanta, but I can be old, but I can make it to the next one. And of course she got injured and got knocked out of it. So that, I mean, foot injuries are very common. It's what took my sister out, and it's taken a lot of gymnasts out.
Yeah. So the fact that she did that, the fact that Biles is doing this in the worst year to be born for an Olympian, like of the 4 that you can be born in, the worst year to be born is 97 or 01 or 05 or any of those increments of 4. The fact that she's doing it like in this with everything that she's been through and everything, it's crazy. I don't think we're ever going to see anything top like this.
Yeah. Let's talk some of the ways that we've watched the Olympics. Not necessarily just watching them on NBC and the NBC networks, but watching them online.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you having 9 events up? And I know you only have a limited number of TVs in your office, having to watch this stuff on not only on TV but also on the computer. How's the streams been? How's the quality? And I know you typically watch without sound, so I won't ask about commentators, but what's it like watching it during the day doing your live streams versus watching the so-called highlights at night on NBC?
Yeah, like the thing is that like watching it during the day, it's chaotic. It's really chaotic. It's a lot of fun, but it's chaotic. My eyes are just wandering all over the place, figuring out, okay, what's important here, making
plus
sure
watching chat.
Plus watching the chat, plus updating the score bugs and putting in the numbers and typing everything in. I'm doing like 10,000 jobs at once, essentially, pulling 9 events and having all my tabs open and making sure like the stats are right and making sure I got the information on everyone right. And just going back and forth. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely weird. Like, I'm not sure I can ever watch like one event ever again. I'm not sure I can ever, like, I think these streams have taught me, like, I don't know how to watch just one singular TV, one event ever again. Like it's like,
you were watching baseball games at the same time too, weren't you?
Yeah. At the very end, when there was like nothing happening, when there was like 3 events happening, I shouldn't say nothing. There was 3 events happening. But it was like, okay, this is like, I guess how I have to watch stuff now. It's like even like doing 2 events at the same time is nothing anymore. It's nothing.
Right. How bored were you Thursday night just doing that football game?
It was so bizarre. Like I was like it was like the slowest 3-hour stream I've ever done. It was like the slowest stream. And like, it wasn't because the game was good for a preseason game. Like, football was back and the chat was fun, everything, but it's like, I can't do it.
You can always count on me to sit there and harass you in chat, right?
Yeah. It was like after doing the Olympics where just everything's flying by, you don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to like look at the clock. It just flies by.
Yeah. Well, talking about your live streams, how have your numbers been on your live streams for the Olympics?
They've been solid. We're usually getting around 40 concurrent, 30 concurrent at the same time across the whole 6 hours, which is really good. I'm like one of the only ones doing it like this. I know there's some people doing Olympic streams. Like, I've checked like like channels after the fact. They're doing streams of like certain events, but they're not doing it like this, where they're just whipping around coverage.
Yeah, I know
And
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has his Dirty Mo Media
yeah,
doing some live streams, but nothing like what you're doing.
no, I think I'm the only one doing it like this, where I have my own graphics. I'm bouncing around every different event. Like there are some channels that are doing like streams of specific events, but not like every sport. And what's
Yeah.
interesting too about these streams, I don't know why this is the case, but when the stream ends, the numbers keep going up. Like usually with a football game, the stream ends and then that's it. No one wants to watch after the fact. But the numbers rise at night, and the numbers rise the next day. So I don't know why that's the case, but it's like it's very weird. I like it, but it's very, very weird. We've definitely grown a lot of subs as a result of it.
It's almost like my gaming streams. I know what to expect during my gaming streams, and I don't do commentary during my gaming streams
Mhm.
because I kind of want the footage
Mhm.
and the ambient noise of the game
Yeah.
to be able to be used for making highlight videos or whatever.
Right.
But I I find that my numbers go up after the fact too.
Mhm.
Usually have about 40 views before I end it, and which I know is nothing compared to what you're doing, but it's I find the next couple of days it's in the 300 views. So,
Mhm.
you know, but let's talk about the Hall of Fame game. A little break from the Olympic action Thursday night,
Mhm.
although it didn't finish the way I would have liked it to finish, which I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, Bears took on Texans. Let's talk about the good, bad, and ugly of the game. Let's start off with the good quarterback play. Your thoughts on the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I thought. Look, we all knew that CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams were not going to play. We all knew that going in.
Right.
No starters really ever play the Hall of Fame game, so it was all about the backups. And Davis Mills, I think there was this maybe some debate about okay, who's QB2 going into the season? Is it going to be Case Keenum? Is it going to be Davis Mills?
I don't think that debate's there anymore.
Not anymore. No. Davis Mills looked very sharp. Davis Mills, he made all the throws he was supposed to. My thing with Mills for a while is that he's kind of a statue in the pocket, and that's sort of what's hindered him to some extent. But he made some nice plays in the pocket, evading the pressure. There was one play where he juked out Hardy and he threw it down the field about 30 yards. It was a good play. Mills did everything you want him to do. I think
I
Mills,
thought Hardy came out of his shoes when I saw that play. It was like, wait, Mills just did that?
yeah, I was like, that does not sound like Davis Mills at all. But I thought he played very well. And I think he's going into the season as look, if Stroud goes down for 2 games, the thing with a backup quarterback is that if your QB goes down for 2 games and you're playing average level competition, can you get to a 1-1 record over those 2 games? And I think Mills, I have my doubts about him, but I think Mills can get you that. I think Mills, if he has to be thrust in there, he's not the worst option. I mean, he's not top 30. We all know that, but in terms of backup quarterbacks, he's probably in that top half, and I think he played very well against the Bears.
Yeah. And Mills is one of those that you could throw him in for a series or two if need be and not worry about, okay, he's just going to throw a pick 6 or he's going to fumble the ball or what. He's solid and he's going to do what he needs to do to take care of that ball and give you the chance to let CJ rest a bit or recover from a minor bump or something that he takes that he needs to sit for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of the ball you have Rippon, who I think is a solid at least 3rd string right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he could be by the end of the preseason he could be pushing for that 2nd string?
I don't think so. I don't think. I mean, we've seen Rippon a lot. He's not anything special. Played all right in the Hall of Fame game, but it's
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's Tyson Bagent's job to lose. It's Tyson Bagent's job to lose in terms of the salary given to him, in terms of the mobility he offers, in terms of just the youth. It's Bagent's job to lose for the number 2 quarterback.
Yeah. Both sets of wide receivers solid, you think?
Yeah, I think Colin Johnson's an interesting one. Colin Johnson didn't create a whole lot of separation. He did not create a whole lot of separation, which always worries you because it's like, receivers not creating separation, not going to be able to work, especially against top cornerbacks in the NFL, like first string guys, because they'll just blank you all away and you'll never be open. But he made some nice catches. He ran some nice routes. He caught a touchdown. Almost had a great catch down the sideline. Did have a drop, but Johnson's an interesting one because I saw him in Jacksonville. He was drafted by the Jaguars in 2020 in the 5th round out of Texas, and he was nothing special. He caught a touchdown pass for us. Forget if it was against the Texans. I think it might have been against the Texans. The Texans or the Browns. It was one of those games in November. But went to the Giants, did some stuff there, but not a whole lot. And now he's just a journeyman in the NFL, and he's trying to fight for a roster spot on one of the most loaded receiving corps in football. Obviously with
definitely one of the top 5 on that list
with Allen Moore and Adunze. So it's gonna be tough for him to make the roster, but he looked all right. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. Nice solid hands, made some nice catches. Again, the separation's not there, but that's never been his MO. So we'll see what happens with him.
Any other good things coming out of this game?
I think Ben for the Texans, that signing from the Rams, Skronek, he looked good. He looked pretty good to me.
Yeah. Let's move on to the bad. Kickoff rule is still kind of up in the air, whether it's going to work out or not. It's going to take some while to get used to. All the balls were spotted behind the 30, basically.
Yeah. And there were 2 penalties for illegal formations. It's going to take some time to get used to. I think the rule is a good rule. I think it's a very, very good rule.
It's going to take some time for the speed of the NFL to catch up with it.
Yeah, we're seeing some good, we're seeing kickoffs get returned, which is nice. I mean, it's not just a dead play where the ball goes over the head.
Only
got
one
hurt
touch
on kickoffs, and that's important. And it's not ridiculously overpowered. My biggest concern with the kickoff when they announced the rule was, okay, like the rule is good. I like that we're having kickoffs, but I'm worried that's going to be like the UFL where they had kickoffs this year, but everything was returned to like the 40 or the 45-yard line. But we didn't really see that. Now, granted, we didn't see anything go past the 25. I think the furthest we got besides the penalty was in the 28-yard line. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of trick plays and some blocking schemes that teams are not going to be showing in preseason games.
Yeah. Is it going to come down to we're going to try a lot of people out returning kickoffs this year?
I think so because you get 2 returners. You have to have 2 returners back there now. So we're going to see a lot of trial and error. We're going to see some interesting things. We're going to see more guys back there. I think we're going to see some trick plays too. I think when you have 2 guys back there, it definitely sets up a possibility for reverses. Definitely sets up a possibility to have some reverses. And again, no one's going to show that off in the preseason. But once the regular season starts, I think we'll see way more of the kickoffs being returned past the 30. Because right now, I think there is like, right now, I think the rule's good. I think the rule is good. We just have to get used to it. But I was used to it from the XFL days. So.
Right. Your thought on them using a 12th person for windy conditions?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you don't want to penalize the kicking team for, like, I never even thought of that before it happened. You don't want to penalize the kicking team for wind because the ball needs to be on the tee. And if you have to have someone there, and the kicker's not going to do anything. The kicker's standing 50 yards back anyways. If you have to move one of your blockers there, okay, that's 9 people versus 11. It's not going to be fair to the kicking team at all. And that at that point, you're just going to kick it out of the end zone, put it at the 30-yard line, if at all possible, because you're not going to win that battle. That's 2 free blockers that the other team's got. So I like having the 12th man. He runs off the field immediately. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The running game for Houston, just non-existent almost.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about that just yet. Again, I don't know how many carries those guys like Agumbawale. I don't know how many carries Agumbawale is going to get. He was not a great runner last year. He was not a great runner in Jacksonville. He's been around for a bit. Again, a lot of starters don't play in the preseason. Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about the Hall of Fame game in terms of the running. The only thing for the Texans I'd be a bit worried about is I'm not sure John Mitchell makes the roster. I don't know. I was not impressed with him in the Hall of Fame game. He's got a great story, obviously. But you look at the receivers that Houston's got, and you look at that top 3, and then you add in Ben. And I don't know if Mitchell makes it. I don't know.
I don't know if you keep more than 4 solid receivers.
Yeah. Well, even if you keep 6 receivers, like most teams keep 5 or 6. But
Yeah.
even to keep, Tank Dell, Diggs, Collins, Hutchinson, Mitchie, Ben, like Robert Woods, like that's 7. Like Mitchie is the odd man out on the 7. He's clearly the
Practice
odd man out.
squad.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to mix it on 53.
Yeah. The backups, to me, it didn't look like Houston had a lot of depth on defense either.
Yeah. But again, Hall of Fame game, you're usually not playing anyone. Usually Hall of Fame game.
You're playing simple schemes. You're playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I would
You
not
want to see movement. You want to see what they're doing with the ball, how they're moving it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously the biggest bad part of this game was we ended early. We ended in the third quarter due to lightning.
Yeah.
Canton typically has weather this time of year. Was it surprising that they called it as quick as they did?
No, I don't think it was. If it was the first half, maybe, but it was going on for an hour. We played more than a half at that point. I mean, at that point, it's a preseason game. There's still 3 more to go. The goal with the preseason game is just no one gets hurt. Just don't have anyone get hurt. There's precedent in terms of stopping games. There's precedent. We saw a few of that last year. We saw Jaguars Dolphins stop because of an injury. We saw Packers against, I think, Patriots get stopped because of an injury. In the second half, at that point, also, not that you're dealing with curfew, but Canton is a weird place in terms of, I've been to that stadium. I've been there. You don't want people hovering around the tunnel because there's not a lot of shelter. There's not a lot of shelter out there.
Right.
It's late. You got to get everything ready for the Hall of Fame stage configuration on Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning. And there's not really a parking lot in Canton too. So at that point, if you kept the game going until like 2 a.m. or whatever, you're having people walk into other people's lawns and houses at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m. Because that's how you park in Canton. Like it's
basically a glorified high school field, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, there is high school football that plays there. Canton is a weird little town. It's a weird little town, and the parking lots. There's like one small lot at the top of by the field. It's at the top of the Hall of Fame complex, and then after that, you're paying like $20 to park on someone's front lawn.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to call the game by that point. It didn't look like it was going to stop anytime soon. We played a half already. The coaches got everything they need to see. At that point, just call it.
Yeah. Anything downright ugly, or as you like to say, ugly with the capital U?
Yeah, no, just the weather. Just the weather. Just the fact that it seems like the Hall of Fame is kind of cursed in the sense that we've had like 2020, it didn't happen. 2011, it didn't happen. We saw Colts Packers get canceled.
Right.
Field conditions. We saw the Jaguars Raiders game got delayed by an hour 2 years ago. It just seems like the Hall of Fame game. If you can get 60 minutes in, it's a good day. But yeah.
Let's talk about some other kind of randomness going on with the NFL. Jags revealed new helmets.
Yeah.
These are alternative white helmets. Your thoughts as a Jags fan?
I like the helmets. I don't like the execution. I like the helmets. I don't like the execution. NFL rules mandate that if you're going to have an alternate helmet, you have to wear it with an alternate uniform. Our alternate uniform is black, so we have to wear the alternate helmet with the black. I feel like the white helmet for the Jags is great. It just needs to be with the white away uniforms. I think putting it on the black, it's a weird color clash. It's like the Cardinals when they have their white helmets on the black unis. It just doesn't work.
Now y'all won't be allowed to wear it with the throwbacks.
No, not that we were going to with the throwbacks.
Right. It would. I didn't know if it would have been an option or not.
No, but that, I mean, the throwbacks are awesome. I do love the throwbacks. I think those are the best looking throwbacks. Like, just go to those permanently. I already bought
let's just go back and not even bother changing them ever again. Kind of like the Packers do.
Yep.
Just leave it alone.
Yep. Just put the Prowler on the Jaguar head on the current logo. It's the current logo and the the throwback unions, and just go with that. Just go with that.
Tyreek Hill named number 1 player in the top 100. Your thoughts on this? I'm kind of like, I don't think he is.
No, Patrick Mahomes is. Until proven otherwise, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. And the fact that, I mean, the NFL top 100 has always been a sham. But the fact that Patrick Mahomes was not even voted the number 1 quarterback in the NFL is just nuts to me. It's nuts to me by the players. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what.
Hey, at least he got his 99 Madden rating, though.
Yeah, he deserved that. Like Mahomes needs any more motivation. Like the Chiefs need any more motivation for us against the world. Like,
right. It's like
I don't know why they do it.
Big old target on your back, and your goal is to make everyone miss.
Yep. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy.
What else is going on with the NFL regarding just general news, stuff you've seen come across your feeds?
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm gonna put a video on the next 24 hours, I think, on JG9 News, about the Jaguars. It seems like they're down to 2 sites. They're looking at Orlando and they're looking at Gainesville to play the 2027 season at while they redo.
And they're leaving that up to the fans, right?
To some extent, yeah. I don't think it's gonna be up to the fans, but if it's like overwhelming support for one city, I don't think if 53% say Gainesville and 47% say Orlando, that it means that they're gonna play in Gainesville. Yeah. I don't think it means that. But if it's something like 90-10 or 95-5,
now
there's a difference.
What's your vote as far as Orlando or Gainesville?
Orlando should win in a runaway. Orlando, it should not be close. If the Jags do not play in Orlando in 27, I will be very disappointed.
Now, you were hoping for Daytona, correct?
Well, I was thinking about Daytona. It would have been very interesting to see. It's the closest one to Jacksonville. It's relatively easy to get to from what I know. But if it's between Orlando and Gainesville, Orlando all the way. Orlando all the way.
Yeah.
Ideally, what I would have wanted was build like a 40,000 seat temporary venue in Jacksonville, and then you can demolish like the top half of that stadium and make it a soccer stadium and try and lure an MLS team there.
Right.
There is a
or at least, if not MLS, you could always lure USA Soccer there.
Right. I mean, there is going to be a USL team coming soon. I mean, I was thinking like the Empire Field strategy with Vancouver, where they built a temporary stadium for the first half of the season for the Whitecaps while BC Place was getting renovated. And that worked out pretty well. I was thinking something like that, but if it's between Orlando and Gainesville, I mean, it's not even close. So Orlando was my second choice behind Daytona, and now it's the overwhelming number 1.
Yeah. Gainesville is a pain in the butt to get to, as much as Florida Gator fans love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the easiest place to get to unless you live like right there.
Yep. It's pain in the butt to get to, even on non-game days. On game days, it's brutal. It's a bunch of side roads. It's awful. On top of that, there's no shade in the stadium. It's bleacher seats. Orlando, there is some shade and there are actual seats. And you're not playing second fiddle at the Citrus Bowl. You are not playing second fiddle to you're not playing second fiddle to another team, because you would be the only team playing at the Citrus Bowl. And the other thing with Orlando too is that you can really build that market. Like Orlando, it's a pretty divided market between the 3 Floridian teams. Right. You can get a lot of support in Orlando. Gainesville, I don't know what kind of support you get, because most people that live there are college people. So
college people and not necessarily Jags fans.
Right. And on top of that, like, are college kids really going to want to go to Gainesville to watch, or college kids going to want to pay NFL prices to go to a game?
They barely want to pay their own prices.
Yeah. Like they're like, student prices are not the same for NFL. They're not the same at all for the NFL. It's very different. And plus, you can fill it in Orlando. You can fill 65,000 seats at the Citrus Bowl. You cannot fill Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. You just can't. You'll never be able to fill that stadium.
Right. Well, let's talk about the Big 12, which we both have interest in now.
Yes.
You, of course, with Arizona State, me with Baylor. Have you been watching any of the news regarding the Big 12, regarding realignments and all of that? And what's your take on the season a month out?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, Big 12 is in a pretty good spot. Big 12 is in a pretty good spot. The alignment compared to the other conferences makes a ton of sense. Like it's geographically sound. There's nothing too outrageous in terms of the Big 12 footprint. I wanted ASU to join the Big 12 for a while, and it seems like everything's going to run pretty swimmingly there. In terms of the conference outlook this season, I mean, ASU, they're projected to be dead last in the conference, and I would probably agree with that. I probably would agree with that assessment. I'm not crazy about ASU this year in football. I think if they win 3 games, they'll be okay. Maybe 4. I don't think they're going to win a whole lot. And Arizona's going to be good this year. Kansas is going to be good this year. Big 12 at the top is going to be an interesting competition.
Who do you see as the mid-pack for the Big 12?
Ooh. Man.
Those middle 4 teams.
Yeah, the middle.
I'm putting Baylor probably 5th.
Yeah.
Or 6th right now.
In terms of the middle, like I think like at the top, you're gonna have Utah, you're gonna have Arizona, you're gonna have Kansas.
And Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State. I feel like that's a pretty solid top 4. I think that's pretty solid top 4 based on history, based on what we know. In terms of the middle, I would say BYU is probably gonna be somewhere in the middle, I would say. West Virginia could be somewhere in the middle.
Florida.
UCF, they could be a bit better. I think UCF could be a bit better. I think UCF could be in the that 8-win range. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely keep everyone informed on how the Big 12 is going throughout the year.
Yep.
And now, of course, we get on to music. And for those that don't know, we are both big karaoke fans.
Yes.
I've got to ask you, what is the one song you regret ever trying at karaoke?
Ever trying?
Like you just bombed.
I don't know if I've ever bombed anything. I don't know if I've ever bombed.
Oh, I have.
I guess I did this thing with my friends in college called blind karaoke. I did that where we would sign each other up for songs and they would have no idea what it was before they saw it. Now they have to know the song, obviously. They had to know the song.
Right.
But there have been some crazy choices. One of my friends set me up for American Pie. I'm like, I had to.
The long version or the short version?
No, the long, 8.
The whole thing.
Version. I was apologizing in between the verses. I did not sign up for this. I know this must be painful. You I apologizing between the verses. I was like, I made it fun. It was like the final verse. I'm like, we're almost there. We're almost there.
I think the worst one I've ever done was I got blind signed up for Like a Virgin by Mandala.
Oh
God. Tough song.
That goes high. That's a high song.
Yeah. What is your favorite song to do? So many.
Yeah, so many. I mean, I don't really I switch it up all the time. I switch it up. Depends on the crowd. It honestly depends on the crowd.
Yeah.
If there's a younger crowd, I have a different favorite versus if there's an older crowd. Depends on the demographics too. It depends on a whole bunch of other stuff. I really like doing, anything Journey. I really like doing. Especially with a live band, anything with Journey.
And your range is good, solid.
Oh yeah. No, I can hit those notes easily.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your go-to song? That song that you just want to do to get warmed up, get going, don't care what anyone thinks of it.
Yeah, just to get warmed up, you usually start a bit lower and then you go higher afterwards. So just to get warmed up. Oh, to get warmed up. There's a few. In terms of warm-ups, Zombie's a pretty good warm-up. Zombie's pretty good as a warm-up. 500 Miles, pretty solid warm-up as well. Anything like Basket Case, something like that. Songs that I have done before just to warm up. Usually when I go to the karaoke place that I go to, it's okay, the first song, we're just going to see where my voice is today. We're just going to see. We're going to start low, and if I feel like I can go higher, we'll go higher for the next song. So if not, we'll I don't start out with Journey. You don't start out with
no.
That's too high to start. But it's just to get warmed up, anything like that. Which ones have I done before? It's a warm up. You Could Love a Bad Name. Don't You Want Me to warm up. Yeah, we've done a few. We've done a few like that.
Now, for me, I'm crazy when it comes to karaoke.
Yes.
I have two songs that I have completely memorized, timing on them, memorized everything.
Yep.
And that's "Trouble" by Travis Tritt,
Good song.
which is an old Elvis cover.
Yep.
And then "Devil Went Down to Georgia" by the Charlie Daniels Band. Those are my two warm-up songs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not like vocally challenging, but it's like the lyrics and stuff. I mean, you got to know the words. You got to know the words.
But then I do stuff like "Sold" by John Michael. I do "Country Boy Can Survive." I do "Do You See Him? Do You See Her?" Usually if I have someone to do that with. But I do a lot of slow stuff. But everyone says I'm best at fast stuff.
Yeah.
Because of how my voice slurs through words. And I do not hit the right notes. I'm not on key. I sing it how I want to sing it, and screw it.
Yep.
I don't do live bands, so it's not like I can say, "Hey, I need this in this key." I'm like, okay, where I really loved going. Unfortunately, it burned down. They were able to rotate the key up and down by 3.
That's a cheap
but
one.
when you're doing it on a CD, it sucks because it shortens or lengthens the song.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But where I actually worked doing karaoke, I didn't really like doing karaoke at the time. I was like 21. That we had a 5,000 disc turntable. Like they were 5,000 disc in a stereo system that we used. And the great thing about that was we actually had someone that knew how to run the board. So they could make you sound good even when you weren't.
Oh, wow.
So using reverb, using treble, bass, all the little knobs on there. And that's where I learned some of my sound ability, but a lot of my sound ability came from live band back in 14 and 15. So
yeah.
But I do a lot of different types of songs. But the one that I totally crashed and burned on was trying to do "I've Been Everywhere" by Johnny Cash.
Oh, that's a tough one. You got to know the words. You got to know the words on that one.
You got to know the words. You got to know how they flow together, and you've got to know the rhythm.
Yep.
It's kind of like "We Didn't Start the Fire." It's that rapid. It's that machine gun rapid fire approach.
Yep.
And there's only a handful of people that can pull it off.
Yeah, at least "We Didn't Start the Fire" you can breathe. There's at least like some gaps in between the words.
Yeah. That was one "Sold" and "Be My Baby Tonight" by John Michael. Those have breathing. People struggle on those because of breathing as well, because the chorus is so you have 2 spots to breathe in both choruses. And but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do karaoke, to just get up there and make a fool of yourself sometimes, or be really good other times. So
yeah, no, it's fun. It was a lot of fun.
So what we all know you rushed out Thursday night after the game. What was karaoke like that night on your getting to do that on your birthday?
It was fun. It was fun. The place I go to, they do it every Thursday night. They do it with a live band. It was fun. Voice was not as strong as it usually is because I was streaming so much. Like I'm still like not like the high notes. We're not hitting those just yet. Once this week is done, we'll be good. Once this week is done, it'll be a lot better. But
when you can pace yourself on doing voiceovers, 2 or 3 streams a week.
Yeah. Go back to the schedule we had before, to some extent at least. It's gonna be very weird.
So let's talk about your scheduling, your streaming schedule coming up. Obviously you do try to do a video every day.
Yep.
On JG9, on official JG9. JG9 news as it happens, obviously
Yep.
more freeform. Your streaming schedule once football season starts. Monday nights going to be football, right?
Yep. So it's going to be Monday Night Football plus overtime. Tuesday nights will have the members only once a month.
Right.
Tuesday nights might be. I'm not sure we're going to do anything Tuesday, but Wednesday night's trivia. Thursday night is Thursday Night Football. Friday night is GeoGuessr Q&A. Saturday I might do some college football now. I might do like this crazy Olympic setup, but with college football. I might do that. Sunday Night Football plus post game plus overtime. It's gonna be hectic. Tuesday we might do some college football 25. We might do that. College football Madden, but we'll see.
Now, curious, since if you did do college football, would you double stream that? Would you stream it to 8 and to 9?
I might. I'm not sure what I would do with that just yet. Because the thing is that like Saturday, like I like watching the games while working.
Yeah.
But it depends on like how my voice is feeling, how everything is. Like I might try because I like streaming a lot, but we'll see.
And it's a different pace of game.
Very different. Very, very different.
What's the craziest thing you've seen at college football wise?
That I've ever seen during a college football game?
Yeah. Play like a crazy play, crazy.
Probably I remember watching when it happened. Like when I saw it on Sports Center, like a day after the Trendy versus Millsaps play. That was like, what the heck was that? That was pretty crazy when I saw that.
Yeah. So we talked about our musical enjoyment. Let's talk about something that just ended. 12 if you were to do them all in row, it's 12 and a half years. Now these weren't all done in a row, of course. 120 of them were. Billy Joel just finished 10-year residency at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Like I said, 120 consecutive shows. 30 of those were before the residency. So for 150 shows, SiriusXM's going to air that 150th show. But something interesting was Billy brought his 2 younger daughters on stage with him for that show. Does that surprise you?
I mean, for the final show, like everyone who's anyone was going to be there. Anyone's close to Billy Joel was going to be there. So that didn't really surprise me a whole lot. There was a lot of star power there that night, which was awesome to see. And there seems
including
to be, like,
his older daughter.
A big show in New York, yeah.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to hearing that final show when SiriusXM says when they're going to air it?
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the set list. I mean, it's pretty similar to the one he had when I saw him in Phoenix a few months ago. But yeah, it's going to be like very, very interesting to hear that when it airs on Sirius. Very interesting to hear that. I'll be listening for sure.
Yeah. And of course, at the time, I don't think we both realized why they were doing Billy Joel Radio in the middle of the summer. But obviously it was to commemorate that last show.
Yeah.
So do you think we're going to get him in October and that's when they're going to do this show?
I would think so. Because we've gotten in October for like the last 6 years or something like that.
Right.
It's usually this and then goes to the Christmas station and then it goes back to Billy Joel and then goes to some other stuff. And I have a feeling we're going to get back in October.
We got a comment.
Ooh.
Wanted to tell you both of you a local NC radio played half a mile away.
Oh, great! I don't know even the last time he played that song.
I don't. The only way I've ever heard it is on SiriusXM when they're going A to Z. So
yeah, or when they're doing the 52nd Street, just
the
playthrough. Yeah, when's the last time he even played? Last time he played that, okay, he has started to play that a bit more often at his shows. He has started to play it a bit more often, but not like he played it last time in March, at the Garden. but he never plays it outside of New York, where he's got like 10,000 shows.
Right.
Like when
I
he's like
mean,
touring like regular, he will never play that song.
half a
I've
mile
never heard
away
him
is
live.
one of those. It is definitely a true deep cut when
Yes.
you look at it as a whole.
I've never even heard a cover band play that song live, and I've heard him play a lot of stuff live. I've never heard him play that song live.
Oh wow. So to have it heard on the radio, that's pretty big.
Just on local radio. Wow.
Yeah. Well, normally we go about an hour and a half, but
Yeah.
we just blew through all the news so fast with the Olympics.
July's a pretty quiet month. July's a pretty quiet month.
Yeah. So thank you again as always for being here. We do this every first Tuesday of the month, and then which you usually can figure out by knowing his JG9's member stream is followed by this.
Yes. Easy way to remember.
Yeah. So anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I mean, just got 5 more days of Olympic coverage, and then preseason. It's gonna be Olympic coverage in the day, preseason games at night. So I'm gonna be just confined to this chair for the next 5 days. So
find us a trip to the karaoke bar.
Yep, it's literally gonna be tomorrow. Literally gonna be tomorrow. It's Olympics and then trivia. Thursday Olympics and then preseason. Friday Olympics then preseason. Saturday Olympics then preseason. Sunday Olympics then preseason. It's gonna be. Whew. And the Jags play on Saturday. I'm not even thinking about that. The Jags play on Saturday. Like it just feels so weird. Oh yeah, the Jaguars, my team. Like they play. It's like okay.
What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to seeing as far as that game goes?
Mac Jones. I want to see Mac Jones. I want to see is the hype with Mac Jones, which Mac Jones are we getting? Because he looks very relaxed, very loose, very relaxed and loose, not like it was in New England. The coaching staff loves him. He looks like he's gonna be our number 2 quarterback. So I want to see is he going to be good? I just want to see is he going to be good?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at over the next few weeks with Houston is who are going to be our playmakers outside of the big names.
Yeah,
but I do think we still need some line help.
Yeah, I think most teams need line help at this point.
Yeah,
most teams feel like they need line help.
Yeah. Well, obviously you got official Jaguar Gator 9, you've got Jaguar Gator 8, Jaguar Gator 7, JG9 News. It keeps you busy.
Oh yeah.
You've got documentaries coming out.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of documentaries coming out.
fan requested documentaries, including mine.
Yep.
And then as far as what I'm doing, I've got new live streams that I do almost every day now. It's not as busy of a schedule as yours because I'm not usually on mic for those.
Yep.
I play Fallout at 10 o'clock most nights, and I have a series that I'm doing with Madden that I still want somebody to do the play-by-play over at some point. Yeah, I'm looking at you. And but as far as those go, I'm going to try to play 2 games a day for the next to get through the 23 season in time to start the 24 season when Madden 25 comes out.
Yeah.
So I fixed my issue with the controller not wanting to work.
Beautiful.
And playing Madden with a keyboard and mouse is next to impossible. So, and of course I can't play college because I don't have a current gen system. So, and have other bills to pay before I pay for an Xbox. So, yeah. But that's what's going on with me. Until next month, September, we'll have all the preseason to talk about, plus more than likely at least one regular season game to talk about. That we'll be doing that on the 3rd, so maybe not a regular season game. But we'll be getting ready for the regular season next month. So until then, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. and to both of our channels if you're not. And we will see you later.